The phone call that changed everything came on a Wednesday morning. "Dad, I'm getting married. Her name is Kinsley Wells." The moment I heard that name, my heart stopped beating. That name belonged to someone from my past, someone who had left scars that never fully healed. Now she was back targeting my son. Connor had no idea what kind of woman he was about to marry. As I listened to him describe his perfect fiancée, one chilling question haunted me. How could I protect my son from a nightmare he couldn't see coming? Before I tell you what happened next, let me know in the comments. Where are you watching this from, and what time is it there? This story gets wild, and I need to know you're ready for this journey with me. That Wednesday morning started like any other in my Las Vegas office. I was reviewing quarterly reports when my cell phone buzzed with Connor's name lighting up the screen. My 30-year-old son's voice practically vibrated with excitement. "Dad, I have incredible news. I'm getting married." Pure joy washed over me. Connor had finally found someone. "That's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. Who's the lucky woman?" "Her name is Kinsley Wells, Dad. She's absolutely amazing, beautiful, smart, successful. You're going to love her." The moment those words hit my ears, it felt like stepping into an elevator that suddenly plummeted 50 floors. Kinsley Wells. That name dragged me back 8 years to my Phoenix office to sign papers for what I thought was the investment opportunity of a lifetime. A luxury resort development in Scottsdale. Kinsley had walked into my life with her perfect smile and convincing business plan, making me believe in dreams that cost me $2.5 million before she vanished like smoke. "Dad, you still there?" I steadied my voice. "Yes, son, that's wonderful news. When do I get to meet her?" "How about dinner this Saturday? I want you two to get to know each other." "Perfect. The Capitol Grill at 8. "Sounds great, Dad. I can't wait for you to see how happy she makes me." After hanging up, I stared out at the Vegas skyline. The woman who had nearly destroyed my financial empire was now planning to marry my son. This couldn't be coincidence. Saturday evening arrived with all the tension of an approaching storm. The Capitol Grill buzzed with its usual upscale crowd. I chose a corner table where I could observe everything, my heart hammering against my ribs. Connor walked in first, his face glowing with happiness. Behind him glided a woman who hadn't aged a day. Long blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, ethereal beauty that still stopped traffic. She wore a black cocktail dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary. Dad Connor embraced me before turning to his fiancée. "Meet Kinsley. Kinsley, this is my father, Leorin Morgan." She extended a perfectly manicured hand, her smile radiant and practiced. "Mr. Morgan, such a pleasure. Connor talks about you constantly." I studied her face carefully, not a flicker of recognition. "The pleasure's mine, Kinsley. You look very familiar." "Have we met before?" A brief shadow crossed her expression before she laughed melodiously. "I don't think so. I have one of those faces, I suppose." Waiter James appeared professionally. "Good evening, folks. Drinks to start." Connor ordered wine, Kinsley champagne, myself scotch. As dinner progressed, Connor gushed about their relationship, while Kinsley played her part perfectly. The loving fiancée, the charming future daughter-in-law, touching Connor's hand affectionately and asking thoughtful questions about my business. Then as dessert arrived, I decided to drop the bomb. "You know, Kinsley," I said, setting down my coffee cup with deliberate precision, "the more I look at you, the more certain I become that we've met." I leaned forward, my voice carrying just enough edge. "It's been, what, 8 years, long time no see." The effect was instantaneous. Color drained from Kinsley's face like water from a broken dam. Her champagne glass trembled, and for one moment, the mask slipped completely. I saw recognition panic and something resembling fear flash across her features. Connor looked between us confused. "Dad, what are you talking about? How do you two know each other?" Kinsley recovered quickly, but not quickly enough. "I really don't know what your father means, Connor. We've never met before tonight." Her voice had lost its musical quality, her hands no longer steady. As we prepared to leave, I watched her lean close to Connor, whispering something urgent in his ear. Her eyes kept darting back to me, calculating, planning. I recognized that look from 8 years ago, right before my world crashed down. Kinsley Wells was planning her counterattack, and my son was about to become her weapon against me. Sunday morning found me pacing my home office like a caged lion. I hadn't slept after dinner, replaying Kinsley's panicked expression. My son was walking into a trap, and I was the only one who could save him. By 10 a.m., I couldn't wait any longer. I dialed Connor's number. "Hey, Dad, last night was amazing. Kinsley really enjoyed meeting you." I'll bet she did. Connor, we need to talk. There are things about Kinsley you need to know. Things, Dad, you just met her. Actually, son, I've known Kinsley Wells for 8 years. She stole money from me. A lot of money. Silence stretched endlessly. When Connor finally spoke, his voice had changed completely. Dad, that's impossible. Kinsley would never do that. 8 years ago, Kinsley convinced me to invest $2.5 million in a fake resort development in Scottsdale. After I transferred the money, she disappeared. She's a professional con artist. Stop it. Connor's voice cracked. I won't listen to these horrible lies about the woman I love. Son, I have bank records, police reports, FBI case files. Kinsley Wells is not who she says she is. No, Dad. Maybe you're confused. Maybe it was someone who looked like her, but it wasn't Kinsley. She told me all about her past. She's never even been to Phoenix. My heart broke hearing his desperation. Connor, she's lying to you. She's targeting you because you're my son. That's enough? Connor shouted. I can't believe you'd be so jealous that you'd make up something this sick. Kinsley loves me for who I am. Connor, please. No, Dad, Kinsley warned me this might happen. She said some people can't handle seeing others happy. The words hit like a physical blow. She'd already been poisoning him against me. She warned you. She said you seemed suspicious at dinner. I defended you, but this is sick. Son, don't marry her. At least wait. Let me show you the evidence. Evidence of what your jealousy. Connor's voice turned ice cold. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to apologize to Kinsley for these disgusting accusations, or you're not going to be part of my life anymore. The ultimatum hung in the air like a death sentence. Connor, you're my son. I love you more than my own life. I'm trying to protect you. If you really loved me, you'd want me to be happy. Kinsley makes me happy. If you can't accept that, then don't come to the wedding. Don't call me. Don't contact me at all. The line went dead. I stared at the phone, watching Connor's name fade from the screen. My son was lost to me, seduced by the same woman who'd nearly destroyed my life 8 years ago. But this time, I wouldn't let her win. I had to find proof that would make Connor believe me, evidence so overwhelming that even love couldn't blind him to the truth. The war with Kinsley Wells had just begun, and my son's future hung in the balance. If my own son wouldn't believe me, then I had to take action. Words had failed, emotions had backfired, but evidence never lies. I had exactly 1 week until the wedding to build a case so airtight that even love couldn't blind Connor to the truth. The moment his call ended, I shifted into business mode. My first call went to Tom Baker, the best private investigator in Las Vegas. Tom, I need your help. Personal matter, highest priority. A con artist named Kinsley Wells is about to marry my son. She swindled me 8 years ago for $2.5 million, and now she's back targeting Connor. Send me everything you have on the original case. I'll start immediately. Next, I called Stephen Clark, my longtime attorney. Stephen pulled the Phoenix case files from 2016, the Kinsley Wells fraud case, police reports, FBI documentation, bank records, everything. That case was never prosecuted right. She disappeared before charges could be filed. But now she's back, and I want her nailed to the wall. Within hours, my home office transformed into a war room. Stephen arrived with boxes of legal documents, while Tom brought surveillance equipment. My business partner, Greg Wilson, stopped by to offer support. She looks exactly the same as 8 years ago, Greg said, studying Tom's photographs. Predators don't change, Tom replied grimly. They just find new hunting grounds. We reconstructed Kinsley's original scam, the fake Scottsdale resort development with architectural renderings, the Delaware Shell Company, forged permits, falsified investor documents. She'd been thorough, professional, utterly convincing. This wasn't amateur work, Stephen noted. She had help, lawyers, accountants, maybe city officials. Tom nodded. I've seen this pattern. She's likely part of a larger network targeting wealthy individuals. What about other victims? Already cross-referencing similar real estate scams in Arizona, California, and Nevada from 2014 to 2018. If there are others, I'll find them. By evening, we had our foundation. Stephen organized legal documentation into a prosecutable case file. Tom initiated surveillance on Kinsley and began background checks. We'd found preliminary evidence of 2 other potential victims in Phoenix and San Diego. Good news. There's no statute of limitations on the original fraud, Stephen said. We can still prosecute. Bad news. Tom added, she's gotten smarter. Her current identity appears clean. Legitimate job credit, history. Social media presence going back 5 years. 8 years to perfect her cover, and I said, but everyone makes mistakes. Greg leaned forward. What's your timeline? 1 week until the wedding. I need enough evidence to convince Connor before then. Tom closed his laptop. We'll get it. But Leorin, if she realizes we're investigating, she might accelerate her plans. Women like Kinsley don't go down without a fight. As if summoned by his words, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. The text was brief, but chilling. Mr. Morgan, I think we should meet. There are things Connor doesn't need to know. K. I showed the message to the others. Tom whistled low. Well, that didn't take long. She's making her move? Stephen said grimly. I stared at the screen, understanding the implicit threat. We were building our case methodically, but Kinsley had just reminded me she was still several moves ahead, and my son remained her most powerful weapon against me. The real game was about to begin. 2 days after that ominous text, my phone rang with Kinsley's number. Her voice was honey-sweet, carefully modulated to sound vulnerable. Mr. Morgan, I've been thinking about our dinner conversation. I realize there's been a terrible misunderstanding. I kept my voice neutral. What kind of misunderstanding? I think you have me confused with someone else. Connor told me about your concerns, and I want to clear the air. For his sake. Family is everything. The irony wasn't lost on me. What do you suggest? Could we meet? Just the two of us? There's a restaurant called Bella Vista on the outskirts of town. Very private, very discreet. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Every instinct screamed danger, but I needed to know her plan. Fine, I'll see you there. The next evening I arrived early at Bella Vista. The restaurant was perfect for her purposes. Dim lighting, intimate booths, romantic atmosphere. She arrived precisely on time in a stunning red dress that drew every male eye. Mr. Morgan, I can't tell you how much this means to me, she said, sliding into the booth. But instead of staying across from me, she moved to sit beside me close enough that I could smell her expensive perfume. I thought we should sit closer so we can speak privately. She explained, her hand briefly touching my arm. As dinner progressed, Kinsley's behavior became increasingly inappropriate. She leaned in close when speaking, her hand lingering on my arm, her body language suggesting intimacy that didn't exist. When she laughed, she threw her head back, then leaned forward to whisper in my ear. I can see where Connor gets his charm, she murmured, her breath warm against my neck. You're very attractive for an older man. I shifted uncomfortably. Kinsley, we should focus on what? She moved closer, her hand resting on my thigh. On the fact that you find me attractive too. I can see it in your eyes. This isn't appropriate, I said firmly, trying to create distance. I came here to talk about Connor. Did you really? Her voice dropped to a sultry whisper. Or did you come because you want what your son has, because you've been thinking about me since 8 years ago? The accusation was so twisted that I stood abruptly. This conversation is over. But Kinsley grabbed my hand, pulling me back down. Don't leave angry, Mr. Morgan. We were just getting to know each other. Her touch felt like ice against my skin. Everything about this meeting felt wrong. The location, her behavior, the way she kept creating intimate moments that could easily be misinterpreted. I pulled free and walked out, my skin crawling. As I drove home, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd just walked into a carefully constructed trap. Whatever Kinsley was planning this dinner was just the opening move. The hunter had just become the hunted. The trap sprung faster than I'd anticipated. The next morning, my phone exploded with Connor's fury before I'd even finished my first cup of coffee. How could you do this to me? His voice cracked with raw pain. How could you betray me like this? I was barely awake. Connor, what are you talking about? Don't lie to me. I have video proof of what you did. My blood turned cold. Video? What video? The video of you trying to seduce my fiancée, putting your hands all over her, telling her how attractive she is. The pieces clicked with sickening clarity. Bella Vista, the intimate setting, Kinsley's deliberate positioning, her inappropriate touches. It had all been theater performed for an audience I hadn't known existed. Connor listened carefully. Whatever you think you saw, it's not what happened. She set me up. Set you up? Connor's laugh was bitter. She set you up to grab her thigh, to lean in and whisper in her ear, to stare at her like you wanted to devour her. Each accusation hit like a physical blow. Through the phone, I could hear him crying. Son, I swear on your mother's grave, I never touched Kinsley inappropriately. She was touching me. She made the advances. I tried to leave. The video shows you pulling her back down, holding her hand, looking at her like she was a piece of meat. Connor videos can be edited, manipulated. Edited! His voice rose to a shout. Are you claiming this is some deep fake conspiracy? I'm telling you the truth. She orchestrated everything. The truth is, you're so jealous of my happiness that you tried to steal my fiancé. You're so bitter about being alone that you couldn't stand seeing me with someone who loves me. That's not true, Connor. I love you more than my own life. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. You would have been happy for me instead of trying to destroy my relationship. I could hear Kinsley's voice in the background, soft and comforting, playing the traumatized victim. She was probably holding him, whispering poison about his terrible father. Connor, please, meet with me. Let me explain what really happened. Explain what? How you've been lying my entire life. How you're nothing but a pathetic old man who preys on younger women. Each word was a dagger to my heart. This wasn't my son speaking. This was Kinsley's manipulation given voice. I'm begging you, son, don't let her destroy us. Destroy us. You already did that the moment you put your hands on her. You destroyed us the moment you betrayed everything you taught me about honor and respect. The silence stretched like a chasm. Connor, don't call me that. Don't call me son. Don't call me anything. His voice was hollow, now emptied of love. You're not my father anymore. A father doesn't do what you did. A father doesn't try to steal his son's happiness. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, watching Connor's name fade from the screen. In 5 minutes, I'd lost everything that mattered. My son, his trust, his love. All destroyed by a woman who understood exactly how to weaponize a father's love against him. But now I understood the true depth of Kinsley's evil. She hadn't just stolen my money 8 years ago. She'd studied me, learned my weaknesses, and crafted the perfect revenge. She knew losing Connor would destroy me more completely than any financial loss ever could. The war had escalated beyond anything I'd imagined, and she'd just won the most devastating battle of all. If Kinsley thought that devastating phone call would break me, she'd underestimated a father's determination. The moment Connor hung up, I shifted from grief into pure, calculated fury. She'd played her hand, but every trick leaves evidence. I called Tom Baker immediately. Tom, emergency. Bring Dr. Rachel Thompson, the forensic video analyst. Within 2 hours, my living room became a digital war room. Dr. Thompson, a sharp-eyed forensic expert, connected her equipment to my laptop. Show me what we're dealing with, she said. I described the Bella Vista dinner in detail. The video supposedly shows me seducing Kinsley, but she was all over me. I was trying to get away. Tom leaned forward. First step. We need the original scene. Bella Vista has security cameras. If we can get that footage, we can compare it to whatever Connor received. Dr. Thompson confirmed. Tom was already making calls. I have contacts there. Give me 30 minutes. He returned with a USB drive. Security footage from last night. We watched the restaurant's camera feed in silence. There I was, arriving early. Kinsley's entrance, her move beside me. Then Dr. Thompson paused the video. There, she pointed. Corner table behind that pillar. See that man phone positioned perfectly to film your booth? Tom enhanced the image. A young man in his 20s, baseball cap, low smartphone, discreetly aimed at us. Throughout dinner, he never moved, never ordered food, just recorded. Professional surveillance setup, Tom said grimly. Dr. Thompson ran facial recognition. Tyler Brooks, age 26, freelance photographer. History of questionable clients. 2 privacy invasion arrests. Can you trace him? Already on it. Tom's fingers flew across his keyboard. Address vehicle known associates. We found Tyler at his downtown apartment that afternoon. Tom's approach was direct. 2 large men in expensive suits tend to get scammers' attention. Tyler opened the door, looking like he'd expected us. His face went pale, seeing Tom's badge. Tyler Brooks. We need to talk about your photography work last night. I don't know what you're talking about. Tom pushed past him. Bella Vista restaurant, corner table, ring any bells? Tyler's laptop sat open, video editing software clearly visible. Dr. Thompson moved to examine it while we blocked the exit. Here's how this works, Tyler, I said calmly but menacingly. Tell us exactly what Kinsley Wells paid you to do, or explain it to the FBI. Tyler's resistance crumbled. Look, I just needed money. She said it was for a divorce case, needed evidence of her husband cheating. Husband, Tom raised an eyebrow. That's what she told me, $5,000 to film a dinner and edit it to look compromising. Dr. Thompson looked up from the laptop. Original footage is here, plus 3 edited versions. This one matches what was sent to your son. The difference was staggering. The original showed Kinsley initiating all contact me clearly, uncomfortable, trying to leave. The edited version made me look like the aggressor. She's got you now, doesn't she? Tyler realized the scope of what he'd helped create. This was never about divorce. This was about destroying you. Tom stepped closer. You're giving us everything. Original files, edited versions, communications with Kinsley payment records. Everything. Tyler nodded frantically. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't sign up for this level of crazy. As Dr. Thompson copied the files, I felt the first spark of hope since Connor's devastating call. With Tyler's confession and original footage, we had everything needed to prove Kinsley's manipulation. The wedding was tomorrow. Time to crash a party and save my son. Saturday morning arrived with the weight of everything I'd lost and everything I still had to fight for. My son's wedding was this afternoon, and I had less than 6 hours to organize the most important presentation of my life. This wasn't just about exposing Kinsley anymore. This was about saving Connor from a lifetime of deception. Stephen Clark arrived at my house at dawn, briefcase packed with legal ammunition. We need this bulletproof Leorin. No room for doubt, no chance for her to wiggle out. He spread documents across my dining table like a general planning battle. Original police reports from Phoenix FBI case files. Bank transfer records, Tyler's signed confession doctor. Thompson's forensic analysis and the unedited restaurant footage. Everything chronologically organized and legally authenticated. Tom Baker joined us with his surveillance team. I've got 3 men positioned around the Bellagio. Security Chief Brown is cooperating. He owes me from the Martinez case. We'll have access and backup if things get ugly. What about Connor? I asked. How do we approach him without Kinsley interfering? Stephen adjusted his glasses. We go public, in front of all wedding guests. She can't manipulate him if everyone's watching. Tom nodded. Plus we'll have witnesses. She can't claim we're lying if 50 people hear the evidence. We rehearsed our approach. Stephen would present legal evidence first, dry, factual, irrefutable. Then Tyler would confess about video manipulation. Finally, Dr. Thompson would show the side-by-side footage comparison. Stay calm, Stephen advised. Let the evidence speak. Don't get emotional. Don't let her provoke you. But this was personal. This was my son, my family, my entire world. Greg Wilson stopped by with moral support and reality check. You realize this could backfire. Connor might choose her anyway. Then at least he'll know the truth? I replied. At least he'll choose with his eyes open. Tom's phone buzzed with surveillance updates. Kinsley's at the hotel getting ready. Connor's in the groom's suite. Wedding starts at 4 p.m. We time this after ceremony begins, but before vows. Dr. Thompson arrived with portable projection equipment. I can set up anywhere with a wall and power outlet. Video comparison will be crystal clear. Stephen reviewed his notes. Here's our sequence. I interrupt the ceremony, request permission to present new evidence. Tyler confesses first, then Dr. Thompson shows video analysis, then I present fraud documentation. Clean, professional, devastating. What if she runs, I asked. Tom smiled grimly. Security Chief Brown has exits covered. Plus Las Vegas police are interested in reopening the Phoenix case. As we loaded everything into Tom's van, legal documents, video equipment, Tyler's confession, 8 years of pain condensed into one presentation, I felt the weight of everything at stake. You ready? Tom asked as we drove toward the Bellagio. I thought about Connor's voice on that devastating phone call. Kinsley's calculated manipulation, my son, about to make the biggest mistake of his life. I've been ready for 8 years, I said. The Bellagio's lights glittered ahead. Somewhere in that hotel, my son was preparing to marry a woman who would destroy him. But not if I could help it. It was time to crash a wedding and reclaim my family. The Bellagio's wedding chapel buzzed with elegant anticipation as I stepped through the ornate doors. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbow light across 200 guests dressed in their finest attire. At the altar, Connor stood in his black tuxedo, looking every inch the happy groom. Beside him, Kinsley was radiant in white silk, the picture of innocent beauty. Neither of them saw me enter. I positioned myself halfway down the aisle as the ceremony began. The officiant's voice echoed through the chapel. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. This was it. 8 years of pain, 3 days of investigation, and a lifetime of love for my son, all converging on this single moment. If anyone has just cause why these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace. I stood up. I do. The chapel fell silent. 200 heads turned toward me. Connor's face went white with shock and fury. Dad, what the hell are you doing here? I told you not to come. Connor, before you marry this woman, you need to know the truth. My voice carried clearly through the chapel's acoustics. All of it. Kinsley's mask slipped for just a moment, revealing pure panic before she composed herself. Mr. Morgan, please don't do this. don't ruin your son's happiness because you can't accept his choice. This isn't about choice, I said, walking closer to the altar. This is about deception. Stephen Clark entered from the side door, followed by Tom Baker, Dr. Thompson, and Tyler Brooks. Security Chief Brown positioned himself near the exits, as planned. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen announced professionally, I'm Stephen Clark, attorney at law. We have evidence of fraud that directly affects this ceremony. The crowd murmured with confusion and excitement. Connor looked between me and Stephen, his anger mixing with bewilderment. Tyler Brooks, please step forward, Stephen continued. Tyler approached the altar, visibly nervous but determined. 3 days ago, Kinsley Wells paid me $5,000 to secretly film Mr. Morgan at Bella Vista restaurant and edit the footage to make it look like he was seducing her. Gasps rippled through the audience. Connor's face went from anger to confusion. That's ridiculous, Kinsley protested. I don't even know this man. Dr. Thompson stepped forward with her projection equipment. I have the original footage and the edited version. The manipulation is clear and deliberate. The chapel wall lit up with side-by-side video. On the left, the original showed Kinsley initiating all contact me trying to leave. On the right, the edited version made me look like the aggressor. Connor stared at the screen, his world visibly crumbling. Oh my God. The video you showed me was completely fabricated, I said gently. She set me up, son, just like she set me up 8 years ago. Stephen opened his briefcase. Kinsley Wells, real name Kinsley Taylor, defrauded Leorin Morgan of $2.5 million in 2016 through a fake real estate development scheme. She disappeared before charges could be filed. The evidence spread across a portable table, police reports, bank records, FBI documentation, victim statements from Phoenix and San Diego. Kinsley's composure finally shattered completely. It's all lies. They're trying to destroy my happiness. Connor, you know me. You know I love you. But Connor was studying the documents, his hands shaking. The resort development? You told me you'd never been to Phoenix. I haven't. This is all fabricated. Matt Sullivan, Connor's best man, pointed at the video evidence. That's pretty hard to fake, Kinsley. Security Chief Brown stepped forward with handcuffs. Kinsley Wells, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and violation of a federal warrant. As the cuffs clicked around her wrists, Kinsley's beautiful mask fell away, completely revealing the cold predator underneath. You think you've won, she snarled at me. You've lost your son forever. He'll never forgive you for this humiliation. But Connor was walking toward me, tears streaming down his face. Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you. I should have trusted you. I opened my arms and held my son as he broke down. It's okay, Connor. It's okay. You're safe now. The chapel erupted in shocked conversations as police led Kinsley away. 8 years of planning, manipulation, and revenge had crumbled in 15 minutes of truth. But as I held my son and felt his forgiveness, I realized something important. The truth was, finally out, justice was served, but our real journey, rebuilding trust, healing our relationship, and moving forward together, was just beginning. The aftermath of that shattered wedding ceremony unfolded like ripples across a pond. Within hours, news crews gathered outside the Bellagio, drawn by reports of dramatic fraud exposure at a high society wedding. Social media exploded with cell phone videos of Kinsley being led away in handcuffs. But I barely noticed the media circus. My focus was entirely on the broken young man beside me in the hotel's private lounge, still wearing his wedding tuxedo, but looking nothing like the confident groom from hours earlier. I feel so stupid, Dad, Connor said, his voice barely above a whisper. How could I not see what she was? How could I choose her over you? I placed my hand on his shoulder. Son manipulators like Kinsley are professionals. They study people, learn their weaknesses, and exploit them with surgical precision. You're not stupid. You fell in love with a carefully constructed lie. Over the following days, Connor and I spent hours talking. Really talking for the first time in years. He told me about Kinsley's gradual isolation tactics, how she'd slowly turned him against friends who expressed concern, how she'd made him feel guilty for maintaining close relationships with family. She made me feel like I was the luckiest man alive, Connor admitted. Like someone that perfect could never love someone like me unless I proved myself worthy every single day. Love shouldn't require proof, son. Real love accepts you as you are. The legal proceedings moved swiftly. Stephen Clark worked with federal prosecutors to ensure Kinsley faced full justice. She was charged with multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. During the trial, 3 other victims came forward: a retired businessman from San Diego, a widow from Phoenix, and a young entrepreneur from Denver who'd all fallen for similar scams. Kinsley Taylor received 15 years in federal prison without possibility of parole for 5 years. As the judge read the sentence, she showed no remorse, only cold calculation even in defeat. Connor threw himself into therapy, working to understand how he'd been manipulated and learning to trust his judgment again. The hardest part, he told me months later, is accepting that none of it was real. Every "I love you," every shared dream, it was all performance art designed to control me. But healing came gradually. Connor returned to work at my company, determined to prove his worth through merit. Our relationship, tested by fire and manipulation, emerged stronger than ever. We instituted weekly dinners talking about business life and the lessons we'd learned. Greg Wilson often joined us, marveling at the transformation. "You two went through hell, but you came out as a real team." Connor began dating again, cautiously but hopefully. He'd learned to listen to his instincts, to value opinions of people who truly cared about him, and to understand that real love builds up rather than isolates. "I'm grateful it happened," he surprised me by saying one evening. "Not for the pain, but for what it taught us about each other. I know now that you'll always have my back even when I'm too stubborn to see the truth." As I write this, Connor is dating a wonderful woman named Sela, a teacher who loves him for his kindness, not his bank account. Their relationship is built on honesty, mutual respect, and hard-won wisdom that comes from surviving deception. The media attention eventually faded, but the lessons remained. We'd learned that family bonds tested by deception and strengthened by truth are unbreakable. We discovered that love sometimes requires making unpopular choices, fighting battles others don't understand, and never giving up on people who matter most. Sometimes the greatest act of love is refusing to give up on family, even when they've given up on you. My son is safe, our bond is unbreakable, and together we've learned that no deception can destroy true love between a father and son. The real victory wasn't exposing Kinsley Taylor. It was discovering that our family was strong enough to survive anything. Looking back at this true story, I realize how close I came to losing everything that mattered. Don't be like me. Don't let pride and stubbornness blind you to the people who truly love you. When someone you trust warns you about danger, listen with an open heart, not a closed mind. The biggest lesson from these grandpa stories isn't about recognizing scammers, it's about recognizing love. Connor chose a beautiful lie over an ugly truth because I failed to show him that real love doesn't come with conditions. God teaches us that love is patient and kind, not manipulative and controlling. When the Lord puts people in our lives who genuinely care, we must treasure those relationships above all else. This true story taught me that family bonds are sacred gifts from God. No amount of money, no romantic relationship, no external validation should ever come between the people heaven has placed in your life. The Almighty works through those who love us unconditionally. Parents, children, true friends, who risk everything to protect us from harm. Don't make my mistakes. When your family warns you about someone, investigate before you reject their concerns. When love feels like a performance, you must constantly step back and ask why. When someone tries to isolate you from people who've always supported you, that's not love, that's control. These grandpa stories remind us that truth always surfaces, but sometimes the cost of waiting is too high. Trust the wisdom of those who've walked before you, and remember that God's greatest gifts often come disguised as difficult conversations and uncomfortable truths. If this true story touched your heart, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced manipulation in relationships? How did you recognize the warning signs? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring grandpa stories that remind us what really matters in life. Your engagement helps us reach families who might need to hear these important messages.